Rage baiting is one of the most common things on the entire internet that so many people fall for without even realizing what it is. To give a brief summary, rage baiting can be defined as a manipulation tactic where you purposefully say something that is offensive and or annoying in order to specifically trigger a response from a reader. Let's dive deep into this idea. First, let's talk about examples of rage baiting and why rage baiting exists. Rage baiting is a very specific name for something that is pretty widespread and common. I'm sure every single person has experienced this type of thing in their life, even if they haven't really fully paid attention to what it is before. Additionally, the term rage baiting is something that is a bit of a newer idea. When it comes to internet culture, a synonym for rage baiting that people who were active on the internet in the early to late 2000s would be more familiar with is trolling. And the idea is exactly the same, where you purposefully post inflammatory or offensive content in an online space to cause an emotional reaction from other people. This is a widespread thing that has pretty much existed for as long as the internet exists, and it happens everywhere, on internet forums, in the comments of YouTube videos, and other social media posts, within a YouTube video or social media post, in video games, and pretty much any other form of communication between two people that exists. If someone who likes to troll or rage bait has a platform to be able to do so, they will do it. Now, a similar idea that is connected to this is pranking. Pranking can range from fun little gags with friends all the way to stuff that could be classified as straight up bullying, and rage baiting loosely falls into that spectrum, where rage baiting is fundamentally a prank. Sometimes the idea of rage baiting can be a bit more lighthearted, where you just say something that is so obviously ridiculous to make people laugh. But it can be much more extreme, where you intentionally target people's insecurities to try to get an emotional reaction while putting other people down. So what are some examples of rage baiting? Well, maybe the most common one you will see on the internet is just inflammatory comments. This is where people will leave comments anywhere that they can, just saying things that are straight up not true, oftentimes related to the content of the video, but not necessarily always. A common group of comments is related to food. If you have ever watched a food-related video on the internet and read through the comments, you will have seen stuff like this. How people like their steaks done is an incredibly common topic of discussion in both real life and on the internet. Typically speaking, in the most common way that the largest group of people like their steaks done is medium rare, and when someone cooks a steak that is perfectly medium rare or even perfectly rare, some people in the comments will talk about how the steak is completely raw and that they are endangering the lives of anyone they feed that steak to. The core of these types of comments likely originates from someone's opinion about how they like their steak more well done, but express that opinion in an inflammatory way to get people to respond to them, where they will get a response from people who like their steaks less well done, and also from people who just understand how steaks work. Another example of inflammatory comments could be seen with minimizing people's financial responsibilities. An age-old and stereotypical example of this kind of rage bait is how some people like to eat avocado toast for breakfast, while other people view the consumption of avocado toast as a financially irresponsible decision because toast with avocado on it is definitely more expensive than eating toast with something like just butter, where people who view it as irresponsible will use a straw man argument to overinflate the financial irresponsibility of an avocado toast consumer by saying that that individual will never be able to save up enough money for a down payment on a house because they are wasting all of their money away on avocados. Where in one hand of reality, if people enjoy having avocado toast, they should have the thing that makes them happy, and in another hand of reality, avocados range from $1 to $3 depending on quality, location, and store in the United States, while the average down payment for a house in the United States for first-time homebuyers is about 10%, which is equal to about $39,000 for the average home price of $390,000 in the United States. Obviously, this gets much higher in many areas, meaning you would need to skip eating 13,000 to 39,000 avocados in your life to afford a home. I love avocados, but I can't imagine myself ever eating anywhere near that in my entire life. And obviously, outside of probably some random person who has, no one is ever going to eat that much in their entire life. Even if you ate a $1 avocado a day, every day starting at the age of 5, you would be nearly 112 years old before you hit that count of 39,000 avocados. So obviously, saying people who eat avocado toast every now and then are financially irresponsible is a ridiculous statement intentionally designed to provoke a response from others. For a slightly less complex idea, rage baiting can be seen in very simple ways. If someone posts a photo of themselves on the internet and somebody comments a simple "you're ugly" under the photo, that is an example of rage baiting, where the comment is likely intentionally trying to get some sort of emotional response, either from the original poster of the photo or somebody who's trying to defend the original poster. Another simple example can be seen with someone simply replying to another person's comment with "that's not true" in response to a truthful statement, such as when somebody makes a post in a local community forum asking about what parks exist in an area, and a commenter talks about one nearby park they like having a cool looking slide, and somebody replying to that comment by saying something ridiculous like "that's not true," "that slide is actually bad," or "that park doesn't exist." This idea can be doubly ridiculous when a discussion is related to somebody's personal experience, or somebody in that thread could be talking about how they bring their kids to that park every weekend, and somebody replies randomly by saying, "No, you don't." But why do people do this? Well, there are a lot of reasons. The biggest and most obvious and common cases is that some people are just mean and get a lot of joy by trying to make other people upset. This is just an unfortunate reality. The internet is a really good place for people like this because they can usually remain anonymous and post a bunch of random stuff to try to annoy or anger as many people as possible. A deeper reason that can be connected to this is that some people do this in order to distract themselves or make themselves feel better. This relates to an idea that hurt people, where somebody may be dealing with a lot of negative personal issues in real life, and they feel the need to take it out on others because it either distracts them from the pain they are feeling or makes them feel better because now they see they aren't the only one in pain. Another reason can be related to how people want to feel some sort of power and they decide to exercise it through this medium. Maybe it's related to the same idea we just talked about before, where they are in pain and feel powerless, or maybe they're just somebody who likes to feel in control of other people's emotions and in control of what the topic of conversation is. If people in a post are focusing on how good a steak is, and then somebody is able to commandeer the entire conversation of that post to talk about how bad the steak is, then that person feels in control. And a final big reason can just be that people really like attention. Kind of like with power, getting people to talk about what you want to talk about, or to just respond to you in general, is great because you're getting a lot of attention from other people. Now, attention in general is actually a really important topic because attention is a commodity on the modern internet. From the perspective of someone who makes YouTube videos or posts any content online in any form that can be monetized, if people are viewing that content, you are earning money. When somebody watches a YouTube video, there are often ads at the beginning and end of the video, with a few ads here and there in the middle of that video. As people watch that video, they are making money on those ads. If more people watch that video, you make more money. So if you want to have more people watch a video so that you can make more money, you can achieve that by rage baiting others. And this is directly seen through a unique name with the idea of clickbaiting, where you make the title of a video or a thumbnail of a video so incredibly ridiculous that it intentionally triggers an emotional response from people who see it. You can get more views on a video by people who want to respond to the title or thumbnail. Not only is this an attempt to control what content people are consuming, but it is also an attempt to make people angry just so that your video can get more views. I think it is important for the average person who scrolls through your YouTube feed or any other social media feed to recognize when you are being clickbaited or more commonly rage baited, and how that makes you feel and how that makes you interact with content. If you're personally getting outraged by videos you see to the point you are commenting on those videos, you are encouraging a cycle to continue. Because if a video that is intentionally designed to rage bait people is successfully doing that, people will continue making those kinds of videos. But if people simply ignore ridiculous statements, that person will be making less money on those videos and as such are less likely to make those kinds of videos. But while recognizing where rage bait is and how it affects you is important on social media, it is incredibly important in other areas of your life as well. Media outlets that provide news to people do often use the ideas of rage bait in order to get people to read specific news articles, funneling people into certain ideas while profiting off of people's anger, because if more people read an article because of a ridiculous or infuriating headline, that news company will be making more money. Recognizing when news companies or anyone else are intentionally trying to rage bait you is important, especially in the modern day world where it is so common because it is so profitable. Now, what is the biggest logical issue with this entire video? Well, it's kind of how I fell for the bait. The entire idea of rage bait is to trigger a response from other people, and well, I spent a lot of time in this video responding to rage bait as I showed some very specific examples. But despite that, I think it is still an important idea to cover, so I think it's worth it despite the fact that I am giving some people exactly what they wanted. Again, and despite what I have accidentally demonstrated in this video, the best response to rage bait is no response. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed. This is a common idea that I see so many people on the internet fall for, so I just wanted to make a video to share my own personal thoughts and opinions about this idea. I would love any feedback on this video that you may have so that I can improve any future videos that I may make. I hope you all are taking great care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.